Hey guys, and welcome to a new video of Bitcoin Edge. Today we're talking with ObviousStops on Twitter. You can follow him at ObviousStops. Welcome, Obvious. How are you today?
I'm very good. Good to be here. How are you?
I'm good as well. So today we're interviewing ObviousStops. You've seen in the thumbnail already why I chose to interview him. Anyway, a little bit about yourself first. What 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 got you into trading, basically? Where did your hunger for
Uh,
trading come from?
so I think like most people who get into trading or stick with it, I have an addictive personality. So what happened was really into gaming beforehand, like really into it and just a really competitive streak in general, in all walks of life. And obviously I saw like an ad. I don't know if it was an ad. I think it was a post right on Reddit, and I hit like the front page, and I think it was saying, "Oh, Bitcoin's hit $5,000," and I was like, "Oh, Bitcoin, that's like a thing." And then I went down a rabbit hole. Literally went down a rabbit hole researching it. Got involved before the proper 2017 blow off. Made a lot of money, lost a lot of money. I think I went down 90% drawdown, something like that. Yeah, that was fun.
And were you on BitMEX then, or?
I actually got into BitMEX in 2018,
Okay.
which was probably the worst time to get into
Yeah, yeah.
BitMEX.
Well, if you didn't know the red button, it was, you know.
Yeah, no, it was. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing, like at all. So like just stupid shit, basically. Am I allowed to curse before we continue?
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
can.
You are a little not the
Okay.
extremes, because yeah, I am monetized, so. Uh,
No. That's no. That's no. No.
it's not
That's
even
fine.
it's not
I
even
can.
about the money, but like it's
No. It's no problem. It's just I'll keep it to a minimum. It's
a
no problem. Less.
little bit, you know, like the sweet curse words, you know, like.
Yeah. That's no problem. So yeah, I just happened to get into BitMEX in 2018, which again is like the worst time ever to get into BitMEX and margin trading. I really thought I could build my account back from like the 90% drawdown. That obviously did not happen. I think I'm trying to remember. I think I took some time out, some time kind of out from the whole thing. I was like burnt out from it. Still had a bit of money left in it. Just said I'm going to leave it there. 2019, I think the end of 2018, coming into 2019, kind of, got the bug again, got the itch. Said, look, if I'm going to make, real go at this, then I had better go to somebody who might know what the hell they're doing. So I actually signed up with Trader SZ, really good guy, can really fucking trade, like I've seen him do it in like live, he wasn't messing around. And I was in his group for maybe 6, 7 months or so. Kind of like got my backbone in terms of price action and stuff like that from him. And it's actually funny. I don't actually really use anything that I learned with him anymore. But he was the base from which I've learned everything since. So I think it's important to like mention that. Ton of respect for the guy. He's a great trader. And started then margin trading again on BitMEX. Started doing quite well, and then obviously was doing quite well, and then obviously 2020 hit with the March drop. I remember waking up. I was actually short. I was actually short because
Wow,
SC was short from the highs, and
wow,
I closed for like a 10 or 20% profit or something like that. And I
wow,
said, "That's great,"
wow.
and then watched the market just absolutely melt. Uh, but at that stage, I said, "Look, it's either going to zero, or it's going to bounce back. Like literally, it's going to zero, or it's going to bounce back." And I actually rang a friend of mine who was waiting to buy into crypto, and I rang him at 4 a.m. I rang him at like 4 or 5 a.m., whatever it was, and I said, "Listen, now's your chance. Get on your phone and buy right now." And to be fair to him, he did, and he went and he bought, and I think he bought like it was about 4,500 or something like that he bought in. And I also just opened up my phone and just bought more. Just bought it with my debit card. That was
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And then literally traded all of last year and stuff like that, and got heavily into order flow then. And I actually got into order flow. I'm mainly away from price action a lot, which is kind of funny to say. I don't really use it for confirmation. Really use like order flow and context for confirmation more than anything else. So got into order flow, and I actually got into order flow based upon a guy called Young Chalopa. I don't think he posts too much on Twitter anymore, but he's great. And he was the one that showed like a footprint chart on Sierra, and he was like, here's a footprint, and here's what a swing failure, a real swing failure actually looks like. And I was like, oh my God, wow, I can see what's inside the candles. And I chatted to him a bit and asked, is there anywhere else that I can look at this besides Sierra? Because like, I'm sorry to anybody who uses Sierra, but it's literally Windows 98 and I'm not using it. Like, I'm just not using it. So he said, oh, there's this platform called Exocharts. Shout out to Viren. He's a great guy, super smart, super, absolute workhorse.
For everybody who doesn't know, I'm sponsored by Exocharts. Sign up link is in the video description. It's not a referral link. Big shout out to Viren. Exactly, the stuff you can do with Exo is you can probably explain it better than I do because you're more experienced with it. But go on.
Yeah. I didn't know you were sponsored by Exo. That's great. That's great. Like amazing platform. Viren's like the one man machine. But yeah, so he Young Talopa directed me towards Exo, and he said, look, that's something, it's crypto specific and it's a lot easier to like set up and use than Sierra, and got onto Exo, and that's the start of the real rabbit hole, because I think once you start looking at order flow and every little nuance and like everything about it, you can just go on and on and on and on. Like I've tried to look at everything, like from using, net long, net short positions, OI, like filtered CBD, like everything to try and see what worked, what clicked with me. And I've kind of drilled it all down. So I basically took what I needed from that, spent time learning about order flow. And I would say 80% of my trading is just based upon order flow. Very little about price action. It's mainly just about taking the large areas that you see on a price action chart and then using the order flow when we get to those areas. That's kind of the main kind of jazz about it. But that's my journey. So I went from getting absolutely wrecked in 2017 to learning about price action, trading price action, just like pure price action, to then falling down the order flow rabbit hole, basically, and then developing my own style within that. And I've gotten to a place now where I'm very happy with how I trade. It definitely suits my personality and how I like to work, and how I like to enter in confirmation. And also, like, logically, it works for me a lot better. As an example, I know I'm kind of like just doing a stream of consciousness right now, and I'm aware of that. But
that's totally fine. That's exactly what you want.
Okay, yeah. So, like, for an example, let's talk about swing failures. And I know Adam, Ape Trade, goes into this a bit in his blog. His blog is great, by the way, for anyone. I always shield people his blog.
Yeah,
it's free. Come on, like, stop wasting people's time asking silly questions.
Yeah.
Go read his blog and then come back to people. I get questions all the time. People like DM
tradingriot.com, guys.
That's it. Yeah, people asking me.
I'm showing, by the way, the guys you're talking about in the screen. I'm sharing their Twitters basically. So now we're at Adams and Tilopia we had as well, and Trader SC as well. So just so you know what I'm, showing the people.
That's no problem at all. So with like swing failures, it's a case of everyone thinks, okay, we want to go above the high. I think I'm just gonna do. Can I do a little drawing? Yeah, I will. Do a little drawing and I'll share it with you. Here's the high, blah, 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 blah. Here we go. And this is the swing failure that everyone knows and loves. 2 seconds. This is like the number one play for like loads of people. So I've shared that to you there.
Yeah.
So that's like, everyone knows that. Okay, we go up, we take the high, we close below it, and then you get in on a retest of the high or a retest of the area or whatever. Okay, to me that is complete nonsense. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Why does it matter if it closes below the high? Like, seriously, nobody is able to definitively give me a good enough answer that I'm satisfied as to why that matters. And over time, I found that it absolutely doesn't matter. So what I look for with this is, in terms of a swing failure, is not about a failure in terms of it closes below. It's really about trapped participants past the high or at the high. And it's then about, if we start making moves on like a tick chart, or you can go to a 1 minute or a 3 minute chart or whatever, and see like an obvious downtrend, that's when you enter. You know, that's when you're looking for. So people always say, no, pure price action, you know, let's go, swing failure, and you know, we'll go past the high and we'll close just above it, and they go, oh, that's not a valid swing failure, so I'm not going to take that. And that is like, I think that's complete nonsense. And I've seen it loads of times, and I've taken trades loads of times where we've closed above a high or we've closed below a low, and I've faded that because the tick chart is showing me that participants have gotten heavily involved in the area of the low, and we've started to make waves above. If we're going into a low, we've started to make waves above where they got involved. So then I'm like, okay, we're never going to run it. So that's where, once that clicked with me, that was the first kind of concept with order flow that clicked with me, that I said, oh my God, like, I'm doing the wrong thing with just doing price action. It's really all about participation. You know, like, even people, when they say about, say, bullish or bearish engulfings, they don't mean, I don't think they actually mean anything. You know, I think once you can see the order flow of whatever you're trying to trade, which, to be fair, I know you can't see the order flow in everything you're trying to trade, but you know, the engulfing doesn't matter. It's about, are we making a move? Say we're up into an area of a high, or we're up into an area of SR and we're testing it from below. It's really about, okay, have large participants come in and gotten involved in this area. Okay, if that's happened, then the next question is, are we now breaking down from that area where those people have gotten really involved?
So just to clarify, you know, like, what you're saying is technical analysis is bullshit. No, but I mean,
I'm saying like pure price action. Is, but see, it's bullshit half the time, because you know, the time that you do get a swing failure where it does close below the high could be a time where the order flow, in terms of how I'm describing it, is also happening at the same time. So yes. Do you know what I mean? It's not but I think people who just trade on, oh, it didn't close below the high, I'm not going to fade that.
Yeah, for me it's exactly the same. I mean, I'm a bit more conservative in applying new ways of trading to or new methods to my trading. I would say. So I always used to look at premiums and discounts, you know. And basically it shows the same, you know, spot versus perps and stuff like that. And you just see what I'm always, you know, if my regular viewers are watching this, you always see premiums turn up at highs and discounts turn up at lows. And that's basically, the same. But, what you're looking at, you know, like, gives you the real data, the better data, the more obvious data to spot it, I would say.
Yeah, you know, I just think it gives you an idea, at least what derivatives are doing. Like, I know people use the spot CBD, but to be honest, any times that I've looked at the spot CBD, like, be it for Coinbase or an aggregate or for Finex or whatever, I find it just confuses matters. And for me,
I don't even look at CVD. I just look at premiums.
I know you're looking at premiums, but it's more so that I really only look at 3 exchanges. That's Bybit, FTX, and MEX. You know, they're the 3 exchanges I look for on the order flow. And it's enough for me. I think, like, one thing that people, like, should really take away from trading in general is that keep it as simple as possible. Whatever you find that works for you, just drill down into that, and like, get really good at what you enjoy doing and you're comfortable doing. Like, I am very comfortable fading high participation moves outside of the norms. I'm very comfortable doing that. I have no problem doing that, like, day in, day out. Like, I took one this morning on Ethereum, and most people would have probably called me a bit insane to do so. But I will show it to you right here. And it worked, and it was perfect. It took about 3:30 in the morning. This is literally bread and butter play for me. So I'm just going to draw it out for you. And then I entered there. 3. Notes. Just drawing my. Hopefully you can read my drawing.
Probably will.
So this is on. I'm pretty much exclusively on the M30 when I'm looking at a price action chart. So if you look at that image, the yellow and the white candles are from an indicator that I have. Basically, just shows me high participation. Okay, just says like, okay, loads of people have gone involved here. Once I see those candles, that's when I'll go and I'll look at the order flow. I don't. Order flow is like 99% of the time is just noise. Like it's literally just noise. Random people are just getting involved in the market at random areas. Algos are getting involved at random points, and they're making up all this order flow. So like 99% of the time, it's like nonsense. So it's about really knowing when to look at the order flow, when to take in what it's saying. So this would be a good example. So, you know, we have Ethereum, we saw it open. You see that white candle that's going down. That's like very early in the morning. And then it rallied all the way up, took out yesterday's high. And what that little dotted yellow line going across the top here, that is a composite value area low. It's like 2 or 3 days put together. It's just like a range, basically, right? So we went up into this range and we have a high participation candle in the yellow candle. And I looked and I opened up my computer once, saw that at like 4:30 in the morning, checked the order flow, and I saw, look, loads of buyers have come in at this high. Like people are just aggressively getting involved at this high. And that's okay. You can decide to do that if you want. It's a free market, okay? There's no problem there at all. Once I saw that come in, saw on the order flow that we started breaking down below where they came in. And that's just, you know, like, that's just a simple, I can actually pull it up on this one. Can get this. I can get the exact thing for you. So basically, once they start breaking down below the participation, that's when I'm getting involved. So here we are, right here. Boom. People are getting like, oh, where's this drawing? I'm going to do it for you now. Okay. There we go. And how many did they have on that? So there's basically the drawing on the tick chart. That is a tick 610 on F-perp on FTX. That candle right there, where you can see that buying coming in at the very top, is 28 million. That's the volume on that, which I know from experience of this particular tick setting that's a lot. That's abnormal, okay, for F-perp. Within this particular tick range that I have set, so 610. And within that, we had 14 million on a large dominant order size, T1. So Exo, just for people who don't know, Exocharts allows you, which is a great feature, to filter by size of volume by people getting involved. So this has shown me that there's a trade order level 1, like big boys, okay? That there's big boys getting involved here, and 14 million volume of them have gotten involved here at these highs, okay? So all I did was just look at that, and the second that we broke down below where that yellow line is, okay, which is below where those orders really came in. Once we broke down below that, that's when I just said, okay, this is fine now, and I'm going to get short. So if you go back to the first image and look at it, where our entry was literally the retest of the composite value area low. That was it. Stop. Not at the high, because I don't need to put it at the high. I can bring it down a little bit because the tick chart, if you can see there on the tick chart, there's a 0 at the top. So I basically put it, and there's an 11 mil sell, and there's another 5 mil sell on the other one. So I just literally put it just a little bit above that, and that was it. And I took it down to the weekly VWAP on Ethereum, and that's the trade. That's it. That's me done for the day. I don't know how many or it was, 4 or 5, whatever. That's me done for the day, and that's the bread and butter play. So it's just about fading participation. It's really all about where people are getting involved. Why is anybody getting involved where nobody is getting involved? Like, nobody wants to be the hero. It's the stupidest thing I can think of in this game. Like, I'll show you another great template. Okay. Another great template right here, and this isn't actually my template. This is Adam's template, which he was gracious enough to share with me. which he was gracious enough to share with me. And I've made some change to it. But basically, this just shows, I just zoom out and it shows where people are getting involved. So if you look at that, why would you get involved where there's not a massive explosion of red and blue color, which would show that, okay, there's a large volume, people are now getting involved. So if you look at that, you can see the high that we made. You can see it. And look at all that bright blue and bright red coming in at the highs. That shows me participation is there and I should be getting involved. So that's really it. If there's no participation, if there's no high volume in a certain area, then I'm not getting involved at all. But that play right there that I showed for the F short from this morning, that's bread and butter. So it's just about participation and then fading participation once I get the trigger that those people who have gotten involved are now offside.
Man, it sounds so extremely rational.
Yeah, it's the problem is trying to control my own emotions in doing that. Do you know what I mean? Like I am my own system's problem.
Yeah.
That, like I am the fault in the system. Like I make no qualms about that. I am the fault in the system.
Yeah, but also like I have seen you, like I said before, I've seen you cut trades, for example. You know, you were wrong. You see you were wrong before you were actually wrong. You know, before the trade goes your way, and you're like, yeah, I'm cutting it. By the way, I'm in a Discord server with Obvious, so I see him trading, and we're talking trading all the time. And he's sometimes
shout out to Stalin's basement.
Yeah, shout out to Stalin's basement. We actually met in a server from In Silico, I believe.
We did, yeah.
Crack then, yeah. So I see you cutting trades sometimes. I'm like, why does he cut it? You know, and then like 1 minute after you say it, you know, like it boom, it goes against you, and you were out. You know, like you had the perfect exit, for example, of a trade you, I don't know, were kind of wrong on, but not even wrong because you exited at the right moment. But that's snippy, you know. Is it just experience? Is it just?
I think it's mostly experience. There are sometimes there can be technical reasons, but sometimes those reasons might not show. Okay, so let's say I want to. Okay, let me get this up right here. Okay.
And this might sound simple for less experienced or people who are just hodling, but that is a real skill, guys. Getting out and being hard on yourself and like, boom, no, F it, I'm out. Because sometimes, you know, you're in a position and you're basically marrying it. I was showing this weekend, for example, one of my positions. I was bullish at a certain point, and I'm going to show the guys real quick, you know, what I had to. Look, over here, I was wrong. I was underwater, and I was like, nah, I don't see it going any lower, you know. But the thing is, I spend a fair amount of time underwater snorkeling. You know what I mean, right? Like I was snorkeling for a bit, and the thing is, sometimes it happens to me. You know, sometimes I'm messing it up, and you catch a little bit of a loss, or you spend a little bit of time underwater. Doesn't happen to me that often anymore, but I felt like, you know, guys, it's not always a party, so I should share it, you know, just to make it look like a real person. But anyway, that's the thing why I admire Obvious so quick, because I've seen him cutting trades so quick sometimes, just before something happens, and that is a real skill.
The key to that is, first of all, I don't always get it right. Nobody does. But, you know, the key to it is that I literally do not care. I don't care about having this amazing entry and trying to hold it, you know, even though the trade is starting to work against me. I just don't care. I simply don't care. If it's not perfect, if something pops up that makes me go, oh, wait a minute, this isn't such a good trade, I either just like massively reduce risk on the trade and wait for it to start working my favor again to put it back on, or I'll just cut it, walk away. Like, don't get married to your position. In the end of it, it's really all about how much money you have in your account. So what does it matter? Yeah, but there's always going to be another trade, always.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. But the thing is, when you're in the moment, you know, the clarity, you're talking about, like that's sometimes hard, because your ball is long,
it's extremely,
or your
it's
ball
extremely
short.
difficult. Yeah, your bias gets affected. My bias gets affected.
Yeah, exactly.
Say, I'm trying to fade this down move, and I've just decided to go long. I have all the triggers that I need, and I've gone long, and I'm like, this is a great trade. And then I just start seeing that loads of buyers have come in where I've come in, and they're aggressively market buying, and they're not getting anywhere. That's telling me somebody is just like sitting there, just absorbing all the buys that they want to do. And I'm like, is this such a good trade anymore? And that's a technical reason for me to go, I'm either going to completely cut because I don't care, or reduce risk massively. Okay. But sometimes you don't get a technical reason. And the times it really comes down to experience. When stuff just starts to develop and I'm sitting there and I say to myself, this isn't really going to plan. And when that happens, when I just get a vibe, I then say, okay, if I had just longed, I would say, okay, I am now bearish. What are the reasons to be bearish right here? And I'll list them out in my head. And if I can't list like 3 good reasons why I should be bearish here, then my inkling is wrong. If I can list 3 reasons why I could be bearish here, then I'm just going to cut the trade. I'm just going to cut it. It's not perfect. It's not great. I'm just going to cut it, and I don't care. But as well as that, I actually fade myself. This sounds funny, but basically, if I have taken a long, okay, and I'm sitting there, and the second that I start dreaming about the profits that I'm gonna get, the second that happens, I cut. That's like a personal fail-safe to me, okay? Second I start thinking about the profits that I'm gonna get, and I'm sitting there in the position, and I haven't made any money. There's no like great P&L or anything like that. I just cut it. That's it. I'm done. Because as I said, I am the fault in the system. I am the canary in the coal mine. The second I start getting, it's same as well. If we have just gone up loads and I start getting FOMO, if I start getting FOMO, I know I should be fading. I should be looking to fade. Because if I'm getting FOMO, so are other people. If I'm getting fear, I just buy. Like there was a time there a while ago where Bitcoin was like dropping massively. And I was chatting to Chillin. Do you know Agent Chillin? I think he's Agent
super Chillin.
Yeah. And me and him would chat a good bit, and we were messaging, and he said to me like, Chillin is usually like the most bullish person, at the right time. He's like really good instinct. And he said, oh, I just don't know. He said, all of a sudden he was like, I just don't know. Maybe it is bearish. And I was also feeling the fear. And I said, yeah, like I don't know what's gonna happen here. And you know what? I literally just looked back at our chat and I said, this is bottom talk. This is literally, I have fear. So I just bid, I just bought, and it worked out. So, and I've done that a few times where I've just faded my own emotions. I do think like people have to be more in tune with your emotions and realize that you are the fault in your system. You could be wrong. Yeah. You've gotten involved because all the technical reasons are there. That's great. But the second that you start dreaming of the profit that you're going to make, or you have extreme fear or extreme FOMO, usually just like fade yourself, or at least take risk off, Yeah. But that's how I kind of get out, It's either technical or I'm just going to fade myself. The second I start dreaming of profits. Like I literally had this trade on today for Ethereum. And I'll show you now where I originally thought we were going to go. This is literally what happened. So I took this short, wasn't really too sure what was going to happen. And I said to myself, I'll put here. So I took this short and I said, I'm not really too sure where I'm going to take this to. But I said, look, maybe it's going to create new lows, because there was nobody really trapped. You see that white candle, the high participation down candle? There was nobody really trapped at that low to warrant such a massive upthrust. Okay, everyone got involved at the highs, and I'm going to fade them. That's fine. So I said, okay, maybe we're looking for new lows. But when we got down to with the weekly VWAP, which is it's around 3.910 or something like that, or 3.915 or something like that. Okay, just so people know. When we got down to there, do you know what I said? In my head, I go, oh God, I could run this all the way to like 3,700. That's literally what I said in my head. And the second I said that, I cut the whole position. I said, I'm out. I'm done. And it worked because look at it now. Don't mind that little weird forming hammer candle, okay, that might look bearish. But the position would have run back halfway on me. And now I'd be like sweating in the position saying, oh God, is the short done? Do I have to cover my short here? Blah, blah. And I'm not into the less questions you have to ask yourself when you're in a position, the better. You know, so I would be questioning my own position here if I was still short here. And I'd be like, oh God. And I'm terrible at that. I know I'm terrible at that. I'd be like reducing risk. I'd be bringing my stop down. I'd maybe cutting the position for like, no profit at all, et cetera, et cetera. So it's definitely a mix of me knowing when to get out. Is definitely a mix of do I have a technical reason? If yes, just get out. Don't marry your position at all. Just get out. Okay. If you don't have a technical reason, but you start to feel fear, FOMO, or you start seeing those dollar signs in your eyes, oh, I can run it further than my target, or oh, I could really run this further, like I make all this money, just get out. Just get out of the trade, because now your emotions are coming into play.
Yeah. Yeah, and do you have like you're basically fading everything, but do you have like a preference for bull or bear, or playing shorts or longs, or are you completely neutral into that?
I'm neutral. It doesn't bother me which way to go. Now, statistically speaking, I've made more profit doing fading down moves, so longing. But it doesn't bother me which way it's going to go. Like right now, if you were to ask me macro, am I bullish or am I bearish on BTC and ETH? I'm very bullish. Doesn't mean I'm not going to fade it. Intraday, you give me the opportunity, I'm just going to do it, just like a machine, basically.
That's good. What is your favorite exchange and why?
It used to be BitMEX, because it was just I that's the one I cut my teeth on. So
but like pre March 2020 or after March 2020 as well.
It was pre-March 2020 and March 2020. I only started I have swapped over to FTX, and I only swapped over to FTX. I think it was maybe October or November or something of last year when I swapped over. And it was just because I found there was issues with BitMEX and liquidity in terms of I was always getting, getting stopped out by these weird wicks, or like getting stopped out where I'm not supposed to be getting stopped out, etc. So I swapped to FTX, and then so I just mainly use FTX. And look, I enjoy FTX. It has its problems, but I don't think any exchange is perfect. But FTX at the moment, I think it's good. I'm not the biggest fan of Bybit, and I'll tell you why I'm not the biggest fan of Bybit. I've never had a winning trade on Bybit, so I'm superstitious. Yeah, what? So I'm superstitious. So I'm just like, no, that's the exchange that I've never had a winning trade on. So I'm like, no.
Wow, that's messed up.
Well, I took like 12 trades on there, and each one of them was a loss. So I said, no, I'm just closing that account. I'm superstitious now about it. I won't go back. Just like this, I'm not dissing Bybit at all. that's like a funny anecdote, but it's literally because I've never had a winning trade on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Bybit myself, but like the user interface of BitMEX, I'm not sure if it is the best, or because I just started trading there.
I think it's the latter, because when I've gone back to BitMEX now FTX isn't the best either. Okay, I actually do think Bybit has probably the best interface. Okay, out there right now, it's super simple, but I went back to have a look at BitMEX there a while ago, and I said, Jesus, there's so many problems here with like the user interface. But I thought it was great at the time, and it was because it's what I cut my teeth on. I knew where everything was, and it's just familiarity. That's what I think it is.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I'm mainly Bybit now, and for me it's only Bybit because rebates. That's only, and it's I don't know, like the little edge I can get, is with rebates. That's either Bybit, BitMEX, or Phoenix, or
completely.
So like that, but it's a good answer. Anyway, do you have PTSD from crypto?
Yes, I would say so. I think I'm like mainly over it, but everyone jokes about it when they're in the space of your sleep schedule being completely messed up, and just remembering, like, everyone has had that moment. You wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden your portfolio is down 50% because there's been some massive nuke across the board. So I think when you've had that happen to you enough times, you kind of just don't care. You're kind of just like, okay, whatever, like, it's another day. But yeah, definitely still have like PTSD from it. Yeah, still wake up sometimes at all hours of the night being like, oh, I better check if we've like nuked 50% because China's banned Bitcoin again.
Yeah.
So there is some PTSD from that, but I think a lot of that should inform your risk management. Like, I have very strict rules on myself because I am an idiot. I am straight up an idiot. Okay, I'll say that with no qualms. I am an idiot. I cannot be trusted. Once again, I am the fault in my own system. I cannot be trusted. So I have a very set rule. I have 2 trades per day of fixed risk. I can only take more trades if one of those trades is profitable, and I get out. If both of those trades are not profitable, I'm done for the day. I just close everything down. I'm done. That's it.
Yeah, that is a really simple and good one, to be honest. Because otherwise, you're in that winning it back mood,
100%. Yeah. And I'm a full believer that when you have losing trades in a day, and it's just not your day, even if you're taking trades completely within your system, maybe it's just not your day, right? Okay, the market's fairly random. Maybe it's just not your day. And you know what? If you actually it's the same way you get into an argument with somebody. You get in an argument with like a friend, and in the heat of the moment on the day, you're like, that guy, I don't like him. He's a dickhead, blah, blah, blah. I'll never talk to him again. Just sleep on it. Have you ever just like slept on it, and then the next day you wake up and you're like, do you know what? That wasn't as bad as I thought. I better give him a call and see if he's all right, blah, 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 or apologize. I really think like sleeping on it really helps, and I think people got to take that on board, especially with the markets. Like, if you just had a bad day, you just had 2 losses in a row, you might be feeling, there's a good opportunity here. Let's go for a third trade. Okay, no, just close your computer, go to bed, or like just go for a walk, and then come back tomorrow. I always have that thing now. Just come back tomorrow, because when you come back tomorrow, there's a new game. The chess pieces are set up in a new way, and you can start fresh. I really feel like that like really helps. Just walk away. There's always
Are you still there?
Tomorrow.
Sorry, your microphone was cutting a bit away.
So yeah. Oh, sorry. I think somebody was trying to call me there. But what was the last thing you heard?
It was basically last few seconds. I think people knew what you were saying.
Yeah, they get the idea. But basically, there's such simple things you can do, which really work well. And I think I learned those lessons harshly because of the nukes and stuff like that would happen. And just getting caught offside while you're sleeping. Nobody wants to get caught offside when you're sleeping.
No.
Like, I think that's the worst part about being a 24-hour market. Like, literally the worst part is just it's like, it's Santa Claus get you when you're sleeping. It doesn't matter. It's Christmas Day. You've just woken up. Everything's great. It's snowing outside. It's 6 a.m. in the morning. Oh God, Bitcoin's now trading at $14,000. Everyone's wrecked.
Yeah.
And your Christmas is ruined. So like, a lot of times I just go back to cash. Like, a lot of times if I have a spot position, if we've just made a new high, whatever, I will either reduce risk by selling some spot. I don't mind buying a little bit higher the next day if I have to. I don't mind. It doesn't bother me at all. I'd much rather that than having to sit through. I've just had a 100% spot allocation and we've dumped 50%. That can happen in a flash. People just forget that can happen with crypto. So that's kind of those have informed my risk management process. So yeah, two trades per day, fixed risk. I'm out if they both don't hit, and I have a weekly limit as well, and it's 6. So if there's 6 losing trades with no winners, I'm done for the week. Come back next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they're kind of my. And I never like, if I'm in a position and I've just taken it and I cut it because of, say, a technical reason, or I just get the vibe, like I said, and I decide to cut. I can't get back into that position I have to give it 30 minutes. It doesn't matter. I have to give it like 30 minutes before I can get back into that position, because within 30 minutes, you'll usually get more information to be able to inform your decision. And then if you're getting more information that supports your original idea, then okay, fair enough. You made a fair decision. If you don't get any information, why would you get back in? You've just saved yourself 30 minutes of heartache sitting there staring at the screen saying, why hasn't it moved yet?
Yeah, good point. And something else. Sorry for switching subjects a little bit, you know.
No. This is fairly freeform. So
cool. So how do you spot certain trades? Or like, how do you know which coin to trade or which thing to trade? Like, do you have like alarms, or do you like look for anything, or why were you watching Ethereum, for example? Just a dumb question.
The main two that I'll trade is Bitcoin or Ethereum. I'm not a really big alt guy. Definitely, that comes back to having PTSD from back in the day. But Bitcoin, Ethereum, or else sometimes Solana, because I can see the order flow on all three of those. And Solana's order flow is actually really good. It's actually like really clean on FTX, which is great. But say Ethereum, I just had alerts set for whenever I get those high volume participation candles. Like, I don't set alerts for when we take a high or when we take a low or we come into a level. No, I'm just looking for participation. That's like the mainstay. And it's literally goes like a flow chart. Do we have participation? Are we at an area of interest? Are people offside? Yeah, and it works that way. So when I just saw those high volume candles on Ethereum, it had just taken a daily high volume participation, aggressive market position, participants getting involved the high, buyers caught offside, confluent with a composite value area low. I'm getting short. Take it down to wherever the hell I'm going to take it down. So that's why I decided to take Ethereum. Now, I could have shorted Bitcoin. The reason why I could have shorted Bitcoin is, and I'll show you now. I'll show you why I could have shorted it and why I didn't. Is because, there we go. So on Bitcoin, you can see there, those triangles are another indicator, which are reversal indications, and they're pretty strong. Like, back testing them, they're pretty strong. And the bottom one is in Silico's, I think it's BBPCT or whatever it's called. I have it on a dynamic band setting, but basically, see that round that it's gone up into? That's usually a pretty good idea to start looking to fade, along with range reversal. And again, you can see those high participation candles coming in here. Don't mind the color change from red to yellow. I just haven't changed to yellow yet. It's the same thing. So you can see one red and one white. I know people have gotten involved that high. I see the range reversal triangles on the top. PCT down the bottom, okay? The reason why I chose Ethereum over Bitcoin is because it was actually cleaner.
Okay.
In terms of putting a stop, if you look at the Bitcoin one, you can see it kept taking the highs. Do you see that on the M30? Yeah. It kept just kind of pipping the highs a little bit. Yeah. Whereas if you look at the Ethereum one, it had put in a strong high and then just
and it didn't get touched anymore.
Yeah, so that's why I'm going to take Ethereum rather than Bitcoin. Like, they're very much, they move together. You know, they very much move together in terms of the USD pairing.
Yeah.
So Ethereum had the more excess, as the profile traders like to say. So I was going to take it. So that was the choice. That's why I took Ethereum over Bitcoin short this morning.
Good point. Thanks. Let me get back. What is your best trade ever? Can you recall it?
Yeah, actually, yes, I can. And
I don't know if it's not a funny question, you know. Like I'm just curious here.
No, it was actually Solana. Can I even find where it was? It was like sub 100 Solana, and I used to have this set up. So basically, my three main setups now, and I'm very happy with them. I know what I'm doing are high volume candle fades or participation fades, CVD divergence. You know, cumulative volume delta has to have large participation. Can't just be like small fry getting involved, pushing the CVD one way or the other. I have a scalp system, which is just like, again, it's literally abnormal participation. and the other one then is just failures, failures of high and lows or areas of interest, etc. Okay, but I used to have another one that was what I would call invert delta hammer. Okay, so the invert delta hammer, I actually think I found the exact point on the chart on. Yeah, I have. Okay, so this is Solana. This was like the best trade I made. It was great. It was super simple, and I just forgot to set a take profit, so it worked really, really well. Like really well. Okay,
Epic.
so here we go. So there's my entry. I remember it super well, and there we are. So this is Solana, and it was about 92, 91. So the invert delta hammer, okay, I don't use it anymore, so I have no problem in kind of divulging. It's not a secret, for God's sake, but like I don't want to give away everything that I do because it works now and things change over time. And the reason why I don't use this anymore is because it doesn't work that much anymore, I found. So I have no problem telling people. So if you look at that image right there, I had a low taken, the flow on that hammer. It was massive negative delta in the lower half of that hammer, okay? But the hammer closed slightly green. So what I would call that is that's an inverted delta hammer. So the hammer closed green, but the delta was heavily negative. The other way that is what people call, the hanging man or whatever. But it's just, a hammer at the high. Again, an inverted delta of that would be massive buy delta in the candle, but the candle closes down, okay? So the inverted delta hammer is a case of you either enter on close, if we're close enough to the POC, the point of control for that hammer candle, or you get in on the retest of the POC if it's a little bit further down, okay? So if you look at it, that's about my entry. That was about the P of the candle, and I just stopped near enough the low, and then I just let it ride. I literally let it ride, and it was because I forgot to set a take profit. But where did I take profit? I took profit. Just get this out. Okay, so I took profit around 175, 178. So yeah, and I put on I put my whole, put like 2% on that, 2% risk, and rode that the whole way up.
Nice.
So yeah,
Epic.
That was like the best trade. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because I just didn't set a take profit.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would have been good. It would have been very good trade. In general, if I just looked to take those highs, it would have been something like, let me just have a look at it here. Okay, if I just was to take
so
it
was 29th of August or something?
That's the 29th of August. So
yeah.
It was, so if I just was highs, it's like a 7.7 or whatever the hell you want to call it, right? Which is 14% with 2%. But you see that where it just started getting like parabolic there on the 6/7th September. That's what I'm getting out. So I don't know, what is the OR on that? I don't know. It was something ridiculous. Like it was like 97 point whatever. Basically, I just held it all the way up, kept moving the stop, and you'll see, and I'll show why I got out of this. There, I'll show you now. Is right here. So it was good because I could move I actually moved my stop. I remember that. See that hammer down the bottom? Again, it was invert delta, and I also had a range reversal green triangle on the bottom. High participation, high volume candle. I'm good to go. Stop under there. Let it rip, and then you see the number of range reversal red triangles on the top. That's when we're starting to go parabolic. I just know I've just got to start getting out of this. There's too much shit going on here. And we're just like zooming up, and all these high participation candles near the top. See that yellow, then white, then white, then yellow. I'm just gonna get it before. So yeah, that was the trade. I think it was about 175 or 176. It's somewhere along that leg, anyway. But yeah, that was the trade, and that was like the best one that I had.
Epic.
Yeah, it was good. It was good at the time. I'm just seeing Bitcoin is like shopping now. That's amazing. Crack. So I'm just Ethereum. Yeah. I think like the one, like we've chatted for a good bit now. I think people have gotten an idea of what I like to do. You know, my bio is literally means in Japanese infinite fade, and that's a reminder to myself to always be looking to fade. It's like that's my favorite thing. I'm not much of a trend guy. I prefer to just buy spot when, you know, we get 30-40% downturn, kind of thing. That's more my kind of thing, than going for massive swings. So I'm always looking for infinite fade. Another thing that I have on my charts, and I'll have to type it out because I've actually deleted it, but I usually have this always on my charts. So maybe it'll help somebody else. Okay.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through your Twitter timeline now.
Yeah, will you? I wonder if you'll get in trouble.
Probably will. You're not that bad, right?
Yeah, no, I'm not that bad.
I think we can show that, because there's like different gradations I can like curse and things I can say. You know, I just have to like tell YouTube before, you know, I upload the video. This is gonna happen. This is what is gonna be edgy. You know.
It's gonna be a little bit edgy. But yeah, that's literally what I have on my screen. Yeah. And I found that whenever I was struggling with a particular aspect, be it taking profit, getting my entry, FOMOing into things, I would literally just write in like as big letters as I could on my screen, wherever my main trading is, like right there on the chart, in the middle of the candle, so you can't miss it. And it would be things like, stop FOMOing into pumps, you absolute idiot. Like literally, just when you see those words, that's your calm, rational self telling your irrational self to step back and walk away. I think if you're struggling with some problems, I think that's like, it's a really good tip.
Yeah, definitely, very good tip. Take profits.
That was one that I was trying to get better at. I was, you know, again, it comes down to thinking, oh, I can let this run. This would be amazing. Oh, this trade's going to be amazing. And you know what? That's like, trades that work out that way are usually about like 1% of the successful trades you have. So take whatever percent of successful trades you have and make 1% of that. That's
a hard lesson.
Work out in your favor.
A hard lesson for me about that was, for a while, you know, I was helping a friend who was not experienced at all, trading a little bit. And, you know, the easiest thing is, you know, like finding good entries, right? Or that's what I'm good at usually. Good entries. So I just told him, you know, long a little bit now. He was just market buying it, you know. The thing was, like, like he wasn't listening to me, you know. I gave him targets, but he was just like bringing his stop up all the time, and like he was I think 90% of the time he was profitable. Like every trade he did, he was profitable. He was just,
he's listening.
He was like, I didn't tell him, you know, I told him where to put the stop, but he was just raising his stop all the time, you know, when it bounced, and he was like, he exited by stop like all the time, and I'm like, you know, you shouldn't raise your stop that hard, you know, or that quick. But the thing is, like, he was profitable every effing trade, and I'm like, wow. But it's a good lesson as well, you know, because I think he was at one point more profitable than I was. So I was like, what? You know, it can be simple like that, but
it can be. Did you take your cut from his profits then, because you were helping him?
He was on my ref. He was on my ref. No.
I think the last thing which I want to cover, just quick, because I actually forgot about it there a second ago, so I want to just, like, sorry for the change in topic.
No.
I would highly recommend to anyone, highly recommend to anyone, is to find other like-minded people who are trading whatever it is you're trading, be it, you know, shit coins, altcoins, Bitcoin, just Ethereum, whatever, options, whatever. Find like-minded people and get into a Discord group with them. Like, you know, I was only saying to yourself in, you know, Stalin's basement, again, shout out to the boys in Stalin. Well, I assume they're all boys. Nobody knows in Stalin's basement, you know.
I mean, we have one girl in there. We have one girl in there, but
do we?
Yeah, three digits.
No, actually, you can tell me later when we're not on stream. But that's actually, I didn't know that. I thought it was all guys. It doesn't matter. But
he acts like a boy sometimes, or she. Sorry.
yeah. Well, I would highly recommend getting into a group because, as I was saying to you, you guys do today, like my trading's improved massively over the period that I've been in that group. And I think it's a case of you're able to bounce ideas off people who are not idiots, who are smart. You know, there's guys in there that are doing, like you've seen it before, they're doing stuff that's completely different to what either you or me are doing. Completely different.
Yeah.
But you can still bounce ideas off them, gain knowledge. And as well, like nobody wants to look like an idiot putting in a trade and saying, oh, I've taken this trade here, I'm going to take it to here. I think you kind of, not second guess, but you kind of filter your trades a little bit. And actually taking them and you go, wait a minute, would this be, I actually say to myself now, I'm like, wait a minute, would this be a trade I'd be happy enough to put into the group and say, oh, I'm going to take this here? Or am I taking it because I just have a little bit of FOMO, or I have like a little bit of fear, and I'm being an idiot, you know? And I think that helps.
It helps a lot for sure, because it helps me, like when you or either Yelias are fading something, you know, and I'm like, I'm long, you know, I scooped the bottom somewhere nicely, and you guys are like, I'm in profits, you know, chilling, and your guys are starting to talk about shorting, you know, and I'm like, oh, what is the case, you know, and I'm like, oh yeah, good point actually, because I'm always, you know, like I don't know why, I just have this brain disorder of kind of always thinking you pick the bottom and not taking your profits quick enough.
It happens.
So it happens, you know, and sometimes you're like, oh, this entry's got tier, right? So you don't take profits, or you want to let it run a little bit too long. And it's good, you know, to have people being, you know, like looking to fade things, and you're like, oh yeah, that's a good spot. And you influence each other like that, and you learn to reflect better, I would say, and stuff like that. It's just, it's good.
I think so. And I think as well, like, you know, we people do tend to like shit post a lot in those kind of Discord groups, but I think there's like a good camaraderie as well, because people talk about, you know, trading being quite lonely, and like it is like otherwise you're just sitting on the other screen just clicking buttons. But I think we have to chat with other people about what's going on, and you say, hey, listen, have you seen this like weird thing that's happening on FTX?
Yeah.
And somebody else goes, oh, this is because of this, and all happening in this other exchange, and here's what I've found. You know, those things all come together.
Something just popped into my mind, because that's nice with Discord as well. But news, do you trade based upon like breaking news or anything happening real quick, and you're like, this is bearish or this is bullish? Boom.
Like, so news, yes, I will, but like my thing with news is that it's in and out. You know, I'm not here to try and run it or change my bias, etc. But like, I remember vividly, I was long when China came out with the last time they said they were banning Bitcoin, whenever that was. It was last year sometime or something. Or was it the start of this year?
I don't know. Like there many times.
Many times. But the second I saw that news. And I think it was, is it Tier 10K? Is that his name?
DB
on Twitter?
Yeah, I have his, I shield him here. DB, I'm on his Twitter now, yeah. Yeah, he's great for sure.
He's amazing. Eat news, like, real quick. So, when I cut the long, got short, the candle had only just started to make a move down, and that was like a really profitable day, because I just like max shorted. Because I know it's going to move the market. So the issue with news is you have to be able to discern, is this news that's going to really move the market, or news that's going to move the market
exactly.
now? Because if it changes the context over time, that's a different thing. You know, you don't want to be just trading based upon when if it's news that's going to change the context over time, then you wouldn't want to be entering necessarily right there and then when the news is getting released. You would hold it in your brain and say, okay, you know, some new highs here, maybe I'll look fade because this news is playing out over time and it's going to give us a bearish context. If it's news that's going to affect it right now, just as fast as you can, just get in. As fast as you can, get in, start moving your way, make some profit, reduce the risk, etc. Because news can be very, very profitable to trade. I'll give you a great example. The Tesla buying Bitcoin.
Oh, were you that day? Were you on back to like what was it, last year or something like that? We were at what was it, February
we were in
or something?
Discord we were in the Discord with Trip.
Oh yeah, and Adam was there as well, right? And you were that day there as well, because that's like the most epic day ever, man.
Unbelievable. I was there.
Yeah, you talk about it. You tell the story. You tell the story.
Mine. I was online. I'm sorry. First of all, I'm not cutting out at all. I mean, because you're cutting out a little bit with me, but like as
You're
long as
cutting out a
it's
little
fine on
bit
your
as well, but like I think people
okay.
understand it.
Okay, no worries. So basically, I'm in the Discord. We're just chilling. Adam comes in and just drops this link to like see it's a 10K or whatever that they release the financial report or whatever from each company, and he goes, "Hey guys, is this real or?" I clicked into it and it was like a Tesla purchased whatever amount of bitcoins, and I say, "Is this real or is this fake, Adam?" And he goes, "I don't know." And I go, I just rapidly tweeted on the date of when it was released. It was today, and I was like, "Holy shit! I think this is real." And somebody else came in as well, and they go, "Hold on, this looks like it's real." And then Adam just says, "Buying," and I literally just like I longed my entire account on like a 10x leverage position.
Yeah.
Right, like literally.
Yeah.
Like long the entire thing, 10x, and just like I watched it, and we were about 5 minutes before the pump started, and we were sitting there going, "Oh my god, like, have we just?" And we couldn't believe it.
Like
and then once it started ripping, we were like, "Holy shit!"
Like Adam was like showing it, and I was like, "Is that real?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm this SEC website." I'm like, "I don't get this shit, you know." So I'm starting to search on Twitter, you know, and I'm like, I'm seeing nothing. Oh, what the hell? Like nothing. Is this real? And then you guys are like seeing like, yeah, it's probably legit, you know. Are we long? Because I'm gonna post it on Twitter. Adam starts to say it. I'm like, okay, well, I'll pump in. I don't know. I think I even went 100x. But,
yeah, it was
but
like, I think you did. I think you went balls to the wall because I remember you said it afterwards.
Like, yeah,
I was like, that's conviction.
For a little bit, I had my profit of the day on Twitter. I'm not gonna say it, but yeah, it was a pretty epic win that day. But
that was good.
Oh man, that day, like, oh, Adam, thank you.
That's one of those. Yeah, Adam, Sam. But that's one of those times where news comes out, and you know if it's true, that's going to impact the market right there and then, and just get into a position. Get into a position, you know.
But did you know a lot of people on the way up with their longs got liquidated?
How? What?
Well, on Bybit and BitMEX, people get liquidated on the index price, on like the spot price, basically.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I can't remember what my setting was on. Oh, I can't remember what my setting on.
And they buy the per price, you know, but like everybody was ape longing 100x or like a hard, so they were like massively, extremely fast. There were big premiums on the perps, so people got like into their position, boom, liquidated, gone. 100x, boom, liquidated, gone.
that is hilarious, but also like, can you imagine
so salty,
people and getting liquidated just as we're like making, you know, the god candle pump from Tesla.
Liquidated on a long that way, man. That's
epic. No, that was great. I held that long for ages, but you know, do you know what my mistake was? Yeah, do you know what my mistake was? I held it for ages because I knew that's amazing. That's like amazing news.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of the only times for a news-driven event I've held it, because that was, besides it being a news event that was immediately going to affect the price of Bitcoin, it was also something that was going to affect the overall context of Bitcoin. Because now you have like, you know, this publicly traded company that's not like, you know, MSTR coming in and buying loads of Bitcoin. And it's Tesla, you know, the big fucking like meme stock out there. Everyone has eyeballs on anything they do. And they're after buying all this Bitcoin. Like, what was it, like 1.5 billion or a billion or something like that they bought?
Yeah.
Like, it was something crazy.
Yeah.
So I just think that showed conviction, and that was like a signal. I could see that was going to be like a signal to anybody who trades stocks. Okay, Tesla are now in Bitcoin. You know, that was a big deal. So I held it for ages. And I did really well out of it. But my problem is that in my urgency to get onto BitMEX to like long as much as I could, or as much as I could do without feeling sick, I longed the perp instead of longing the futures. I ate funding. For days. Ate funding for days, and it was awful. It was awful, but the profit like obviously made up for it. But I just sat there looking at every time it was going sideways. Then, as I was still long, it was horrible because there was then an itch of, oh, maybe I should just close it now, so I stop eating the funding and I can re-long if we get a little dip, etc. And then another part of me is like, no, you have an amazing entry. The context is bullish, the thing is bullish, just like let it ride. And I think if I had the wherewithal to long on futures, I wouldn't have been sitting in that position. I would have said, oh, well, the funding is what, I'm not paying any funding. This is great, no problem.
Yeah. I mean, the 2019 top, or like 2019, I was only trading futures. The thing is, you don't pay funding, but you get paid a premium, and the premium goes high in futures instead of paying funding. I think I paid with a 20% funding or so premium on 2019 top. 2019 had a really big blow off, so that's something to look at.
I'm just going to show you now because I know we were talking about Ethereum and why I got out of the trade when I did, and hold on, I'm going to do it again because it's after just jumping. But here is the thing in action as to why I get out of trades when I do. Right there's the high volume participation candle coming in now in Ethereum right off of the weekly VWAP. It's also going to be what people call, the bullish engulfing. It's even gone even higher now than that screenshot, and probably either make new highs on the day or else we just chop around for the new day. But I doubt we make new lows based off that. So that is the getting out at the right time.
Perfect.
Ish. That's that in play basically. There's a real time, not real time, but ish example.
Yeah. Once again, rational. Big respect for trading like that. Did we forget anything we should talk about?
I think you had a list, didn't you?
I had a little list.
Let's see.
If you scroll up a little bit.
Yeah, I have it here. But I don't use any bots.
Okay.
I mostly systematic, but I have discretion built into the system, especially for scalps. So scalps is based upon abnormal participation within a set trend, reversal, or tick chart. Okay, that sounds complicated, but I actually have like all of my templates, well, nearly all of them, for free in like a Discord link. I'm sure I can give you that, so you can put it in the description for people. And if you go onto that, you can see I have one for each exchange, Bybit, FTX, and MEX. And basically, I know just from experience when there is abnormal volume. So say on Bybit, anything above 30 mil within that trend rev that I had set for Bybit, I know that's abnormal participation. Anything between 50 and 70 on FTX, I know that's abnormal participation, with above 75 being extremely abnormal. And on MEX, it's a little bit less. I really just use FTX and Bybit for the abnormal volume. But that's a discretion-based system. There's no real systematic approach to taking those scalps. It's really, okay, here's participation. It's gotten large. Do I fade or go with this participation? And it's really just eyeballing it and giving it a go, if you know what I mean. But again, they're just scalps. So no, I don't really use bots or anything like that. I don't do arbitrage. I'm actually going through your list. I don't do arbitrage. I've never gotten liquidated my whole net worth. I've had two 90% drawdowns though.
Wow. Yeah.
So
that's bad.
So yeah, that was fun. Yeah, absolutely. But okay, look, I've just said I've had two 9% drawdowns. So if you're out there and you're watching this right now and you're having a massive drawdown, stop trading. Learn, get back to basics, get your head straight, and you can do it. But you won't do it if you're being emotional, sitting in a 90% drawdown. That's all I'm going to say. But it is possible. Okay. What tools I use for trading? I use Market Profile. Big fan of Market Profile, but not like open trend reversal day or all these different openings. I think the profile is a very effective tool, but people have made it complicated. I would highly recommend anyone to go to Adam's blog, again, tradingride.com, to learn about the Market Profile, because he just distills it to the bare minimum that you really need to know. So I use Market Profile. Order flow to look for absorption on either side, abnormal participation. I use some in silico tools. Shout out to Trip, super smart guy. So I use crayons, but I'll show. Ooh, Jesus, everything's just like
we're
ripped. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's nice. Oh, so Timeless. Shout out to Timeless. He was saying on Twitter he was long on that bottom on Bitcoin. And I was like, I'm not. Yeah, and I said, I'm not so sure, man. So shout out to him. He nailed that one. So let me get up that in silico, because I'll show you what my in silico setup is. I basically like went deep into the in silico indicators. They're great, by the way. Like I think they're amazing. But like any indicator, they're just a tool. You know, they're not like a be all and end all type thing. Sorry, it's just loading. So I would use his crayons, but I have custom settings for crayons. I'm not going to say what they are, but I have custom settings on crayons that I found have worked really, really well. And so I'll show you a screenshot now. And basically, I look at the H1 and M30, and I use various things from this to gather context, or else it's very good at drawing levels, like automatically drawing levels. So they're mainly just like kind of complements, but they're good. So I'd use Insilico's crayon suite and the Fishers that he has. Again, shout out to him. So if you want to check that out. Other tools that I might use, I like the I can't pronounce the name of the site. Levitas, you know those guys?
Yeah, Levitas.
Yeah, they're great. I like to look at the 3 months, whatever the futures basis. You know, when that's relatively high, what's happening? When that's relatively low, what's happening? Funding, I might use for context, but I'm not like reliant on it. It's like maybe 10th level type stuff, you know. So when I'm like really, really unsure, I might go and have a look at it. That's really like all of the kind of tools that I use. It's mainly just looking at the order flow, the profile, and also then gathering sentiment on Twitter. I think sentiment on Twitter is like really, really underrated. I've just posted just random screenshots, not even said what's going on, and people have gotten angry about it. And so I know, okay, so people are really angry at me. They want, they think this is going to go up. I haven't even said what I'm going to do, if I'm going to go down or not. So I'm going to look to go short, and it's worked out. Like more than often than not, it's worked out. You know, most people on Twitter, when they start showing their emotions, that's when they're wrong. So yeah, Twitter's good. That's a tool, I suppose, but I don't have anything like set up. Like I don't have like a bot or anything like that to gauge sentiment. It's a lot of discretion. That's all the tools. Okay, in terms of the interesting one about Mentor, blah blah, was SC at the start for like price action, but to be honest, I don't use anything that he kind of taught except for maybe kind of like the main things about context. That has kind of been drilled down into me. A lot of my stuff comes from literally just watching and then asking the question of, okay, what's logical here? Why would I fade? What's the reason for fading? Like, why do I think we're going to go down? Why do I think we're going to go up? And what's like logical about that? So a good example would be, you know, CBD divergence. Okay, these buyers are getting absorbed at the high. Is it a lot of absorbing? Is it like any absorbing at all? Has the CBD gone mad? What's going on here? And then just asking, okay, is there fuel for me to like fade this? So I think in terms of mentors, it's mainly literally myself just looking at it and then drawing my own conclusions. Like I have like a list, like a literal list. I think it's like 10 or 12 items long right now of things that I want to look at. So I'll just come up with ideas and say, okay, I want to have a look at the initial balance in terms of how much volume is being done in the initial balance on average. And when we get outside standard deviations of that average, what happens on that day, et cetera, et cetera. They're like the questions you should always be doing. Because I don't think anyone should be staying stale in how they trade. Like I might not use any of these techniques in 2 years from now. You know, it's always a developing process. And I think, like you say, you probably agree with that. Like you're never going to be the same trading you are now to you are in like a year time, you know. Edges fade. Like I've literally seen it with what I quote unquote the inverted delta hammer. That edge has completely faded. I just started getting wrecked on it repeatedly, like repeatedly getting wrecked on it. So I just stopped using it. So maybe it'll come back into vogue, but you know, edge does fade. So it's more about always being able to ask questions and being able to answer them logically, and then using those to create frameworks for trades. You know, I think that's always important. I would actually like to give a shout out to Adam actually, because Adam was one of the first guys that I messaged. No, Stan XBT, wherever you are, he's a good guy. I chatted to him a good bit, and he introduced me to Adam, and I started talking to Adam and stuff. And like Adam actually like filled in loads of gaps for me in terms of what I was seeing, because nobody had wasn't taught order flow, right? Just read some articles and then just looked at it.
Yeah, guys, for anyone interested, there's a playlist on my channel. I also interviewed Ston before and Adam as well. So just if you're curious about those guys, you know, I've interviewed them as well. They're in the playlist. Go
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
Sorry.
they're good guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And Adam basically filled in some gaps for me because I just started asking questions. I was like, "This is the way that I trade this. Do you think that this is like a good idea?" Blah blah. And he would say, "No, this is why this happens. This is what this happens. Have you ever looked at this? You ever looked at that?" So I think like he did help. Him and Son did kind of help, like kind of form a little bit. I would say push me in certain directions to have a look at things.
Mm-hmm.
But mainly it's mostly myself just kind of posing questions and coming to logical conclusions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's how that kind of does. But morning routine, that's an interesting one. I pretty much always wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning to take a piss. So
Nice.
I always check the charts at 4 a.m. And Asia loves to put in the high or low. They love to just do like an extended move outside of the range. And then everyone else, you know, kind of eats dirt for the rest of the day as it fades, it goes back into the range and then chops around until, you know, NY open or whatever. So I'll sometimes take trades at 4 a.m., half 4 in the morning, if I see it. And then otherwise, I really love the 6 a.m. to noon. 6 a.m. to noon period really works with whatever strategies I have. The chop in the middle from, you know, lunchtime up to 6 o'clock doesn't really work for me most of the time. And then late in the day trades sometimes work for me. So my routine is like 4 a.m., half 4. And then really it's the 6 a.m. to noon kind of period. That's when my kind of favorite trades seem to just set up basically.
Okay.
Yeah, which is weird, but that's my kind of routine. Any different approaches when it comes to high time frame and low? We're going to go through the whole list. The high time frame or low time frame. Price is fractal. Everything is fractal. I don't do swings really. I just do spot buys. So like I'm in spot Bitcoin and spot ETH right now. So and the reason for that on Bitcoin is, where is this chart? Okay. USD, cool. Where is this now? Okay, across. Okay, here we go. Here's why I am in spot. And sharing an image with you now. So if you look at that image I sent on there, basically we're about 36% down from the highs. That is typically a very good price range to buy, 35 to 40% in bull markets on Bitcoin. We're at the yearly VWAP, the blue wavy line on Coinbase, which I use for the longer term WAPs because you don't have the degeneracy of BitMEX or FTX kind of messing up the WAPs. The longer term WAPs, I mean. So there's the yearly VWAP. We're down into the yearly VWAP. We're just kind of grinding and we're just chopping people around. Bottoms, and Timeless actually said it really good. I shout out to him again. Bottoms don't look good. Bottoms never look pretty. They always look ugly.
Yeah.
And this is just ugly. This is just like chop. I mean,
the best bottom is when nobody expects it, right?
100%. And people are like talking about us going to like mid 30s, and maybe that happens. I don't know what's going to happen next, but like I'm going to buy here, you know, and I'm going to slowly take my time about buying here, and I'll just add then over time as we kind of go up. So that would be like on a macro side, I'm willing to like spot buy here. I'm not going to take a leverage position based on anything above the M30. You know, extra spot buy here, try and sell a little bit when we're getting like parabolic and, you know, getting like froth and excess, and then just buying when we have, you know, big dips, you know, premiums get like annihilated, basis gets down to like 5-6% on the futures, you know, OI gets bloody wiped. I don't use OI every day, but when, you know, you have a massive wipe, then you know, like, okay, we need a bit of a clean slate and it's good for a move. So that's how I do high time frame versus low time frame. Low time frame, I've probably gone through a load in this interview, and that's all for low time frame. And high time frame, that's literally it. I'm just looking for spot buys and spot sells, basically. Yeah. Where do I form best? I can do either trending or sideways. The strategies work in either. But if we're like really bullish and we're making highs, I will put on less size on a fade of a extreme move, if that makes sense. And I'll put more on a dip. If I'm trying to fade a dip in, if I know we're trending up, I'll just put a little bit more on the risk. And I'd rather take the one shot kill in a trending move, trying to fade a downturn, I'd rather put on my full risk for the day on that, because we're in a trend and we could just completely obliterate the highs within a couple of candles. I've seen it before. So yeah, it doesn't really matter to me either. Works.
Okay.
Is there? Yeah. So I think I've gone through everything on the
Yeah, I think you've gone through anything. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we talked for ages. But
one hour and 20 minutes. Yeah, 80 minutes. Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. Some of it is probably nonsense, but I think I've made myself fairly clear. I would hope. Yeah. So actually, it's really funny. So like, Bitcoin's literally doing a great setup like right now to fade, but now I'm like, what the hell do I fade it down to? So yeah. No, thanks.
Thank you for your time. I think we covered everything. People would like to know, and otherwise drop it in the comments. Harass Obvious on Twitter. And that would be about it for today. Thank you for your time. Any last words?
Yeah, don't get liquidated.
Don't get liquidated. It's a pretty good one.
Don't get liquidated.
Take profits.
Take some profits. And I think like don't stress. Okay, even if you've like lost money and you're down from your all-time high, don't stress about it, man. There's much larger things in life than money. Just chill out. You'll make more money just chilling out than you will stressing. So that's what I would say.
Good one. Thank you for your time, and guys, make sure to subscribe, follow Obvious on Twitter, and that will be it. See you guys again tomorrow.